Okay, hello you guys. Today I will be doing a tutorial on cleaning my apples and dipping them from beginning to end. Um, as you can see, I have some apples here. I have some smaller ones like lunchbox size, and then I have some bigger ones, but these aren't the huge ones. These are two for $1 if you have a Kroger's grocery store. And these also came from Kroger's, but these are the smaller ones. So this one will boil for about 10 seconds. This one will boil for about 8 seconds. All I have is plain hot water. No vinegar, no, what else do they use? No baking soda. I don't put anything in my water. Just regular hot water, and that's it. As you can see, the apples are very shiny because they have wax on them. So that is the purpose for dipping them in the water, is to remove all of the wax. Now once you remove the wax from your apples will start to slightly change color, and they're still good. They just don't have the wax on them anymore. And the wax will cause your candy to basically slide back off of your apple. So this is why you want to clean them. You want to let them sit for 48 hours after you dip them in the water. Some people do same day dipping, some people do 24 hours. I prefer to do 48 for the simple fact that once you remove the wax from this apple, your apple immediately starts to release sap. And it does take up to 48 hours at least, the minimum, for most of the wax to, not wax, most of the sap to be released from this apple. So what happens is, if you dip your apple same day, do the 24-hour method. Yes, it can be done, but you have to remember that if it takes 48 hours for the sap to be completely released from your apple, putting them in cold water or placing them in the freezer to seize it, stop the sap from being released. Once you put this apple back in your hot candy mix, it will reactivate the sap that is still in the apple, and it will start to release what is left. So that will cause your apples to have pinholes, to start popping up when you're after you're done with your apples, sometimes in the process of it, or they won't last as long for an event, for the simple fact that that sap is still trying to come out, and it's coming out through your candy now. So it's going to cause your candy to start melting. And we don't want that, especially at somebody's event. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with dipping these apples. Okay, so here I have my 12 apples already cleaned after 48 hours. I have 3 cups of sugar, my candy thermometer. I have the food coloring I will be using, which is Georgia peach. 1 cup of Karo syrup, 1 cup of water, and about a half a teaspoon or less of vanilla flavoring. And I have my bags and my bowls. Here, my candy has cooked to 250. I'll add my flavoring. Okay, now here my candy has cooked to 300. I'll turn off the stove, remove the candy thermometer, set it in some water, and I'll remove my pot from the burner. Next, I'll start adding my coloring, which is the Georgia peach and the white that I didn't show in the beginning. I love the way the color came out, but I did add a little too much. So I added more white so that the color would match the bowls that she had. So I'm just doing a very light mix so I don't cause too many bubbles. All right, so next I'll tilt my pot to the side and I'll start to dip my apples. You always want to tilt your pot just a little, and you don't want to let your apples touch the pot as you're twirling them. One quick twirl, and that's it. Now, I do believe I could have got one, maybe two more apples out of this mix, but um, I got what I needed, so that was sufficient enough. Okay, so on my last apple, as you can see, my candy is still good. As far as it hasn't thickened up to where I can't turn any more apples. And I was just excited, and I just wanted to show you guys the shine and the reflection through the apple.